Hey everybody, it's September 24th, Financial Friday. Today we're going to have a little special edition focusing on blockchain and digital assets, cryptocurrency. So very interesting stuff, a lot going on in this area. We currently do not have any significant positions in this in any of our portfolios. There will be some reasons why you'll see when I go through it. However, it's something that you have to consider. We're talking about a new technology, a new internet. Think of it that way. This is internet, they may call it 3.0, I think is what I heard the other day. So blockchain technology, what is blockchain technology? Basically, it's a ledger. It's accounting essentially. And this ledger is available for the public to see. So if you and I are doing a transaction, that's two parties. If a third party is involved, that's a three-party, information transaction exchange. That third party could be that ledger. So all the transactions that are made are going to be composed of blocks, and they compose a chain of transactions over time, deals that were made, conversations that were made, whatever, create a blockchain. And what this means is that the data, which would be available for people to look at, would basically allow somebody to make a determination as to whether or not this is a good deal. So this transparency is significant. It's also, again, verified by a third party. In this case, it's the internet itself. And think of it this way, for those of you who are familiar with what's called a Google Doc, this is essentially what it is. It's where people share a common place to put data, and they can, no matter where they are, they can look at it and add to it. So that's one of the things that you'll see within blockchain technology. We'll talk a little bit about digital assets. A lot of different kinds of digital assets now. It used to be Bitcoin was the primary one. But essentially, this is virtual money is another way of saying it, digital money. You're putting things out, you're converting literally dollars, or whatever currency you're in, to another kind of currency, a digital currency. And blockchain uses cryptocurrencies, digital currencies, to basically make the transactions work on the blockchain. So instead of using dollars that are controlled by the US government or euros controlled by the ECB, this is literally off those financial systems and into a public, non-regulated, certainly, but non-controlled system where you can exchange your dollars for digital money, make a transaction, buy something, sell something, and then you could then take it back and essentially convert it back to whatever currency you wanted to do that with. So it's a representation of cash capital, and it goes beyond most financial instruments we have right now. This can be done with extreme speed. This is all done on a computer. So think of some of the, maybe not day-to-day in America, you need to have this, because you think of, you already got Venmo, you got a Visa card, you got a MasterCard. But remember, they're charging you, or they're charging the store you buy something from, pretty expensive fees. Blockchain really doesn't have that level of expense. It's just created to be that way. It's not controlled that way at this point. So if you have to send money from here to the Philippines to do a business deal, you could convert your dollars to a cryptocurrency, buy the materials in the Philippines, they would convert it to the Filipino unit, they would be able to send that merchandise essentially to you. That could take place literally in seconds. The blockchain's been around for a while, and it really is a decentralized system across a wide network of computers. What does that all mean? Internet 3.0 is going to probably become something different than what we knew it when it was first developed in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, as far as what we know. When Netscape came out, went public, that was a big deal because it made the light bulb come on in terms of how this new level of communications can change the world, and it did. This could also change the world, and in a way which we will be able to do things faster with less cost and with a higher level of transparency, which might, after all, increase the level of trust. And that's really what this whole thing is based on. When you think about the word trust in cryptocurrencies, you think about this amorphous business world of crooks and criminals potentially using it, and in fact they do. but there have been more crooks and criminals who have stole US dollars than there have ever been in cryptocurrencies. So it really isn't necessarily the currency that makes a difference. It's just being aware of what the issues are. And certainly this is on the SEC website. You don't want to get greedy here. There are predators out there that are looking to take advantage of consumers, and they're promising these super high rates of return, and they're not licensed and registered people. Look at these. Look at my statement. I'm up 40,000%. You should get in this, and the greed kind of takes over. So, problem is, it's usually too good to be true if you're looking at investment opportunities. So, just be careful in terms of making investments. Having said that, there is a significant business opportunity here, and there are different ways you can invest in it. You can buy Bitcoin, the actual currency, and there are literally hundreds of cryptocurrencies available out there. For different reasons, you might want to purchase them. I will go through that in another session. But there's also a business environment, business community that's being created on the backs of this whole concept of blockchain. For example, some of the players that you have to make the blockchain network work are people called miners, or businesses called miners. These are computer servers, essentially, computer software and machines that basically verify transactions, and they are literally paid to move the fastest. So if you can verify the fastest, there is a dollar amount that you get in the transaction that's built in to that transaction that you'll benefit from as a miner. So there are a number of miners out there. I'm going to go to an article called from Bitwise, and Bitwise is a company out there which is in the crypto equity business. And they're saying, hey, there are what are called picks and shovels. It's not just the currency itself, but there are actual businesses, crypto equities, if you will, that you can now begin to invest in. And the reason this is important is because you can look at this is a stock. And when we look at a stock, how do you determine valuations on stocks? You generally look at the profits and revenues and the consistency of the numbers on what we call fundamental analysis. Well, now you have companies which speak that same language. And when you look at some of these companies, you look at revenue growth and net income margins and PE values. Now you're speaking the language of stocks. What's interesting is that these crypto equities have done significantly better than most of the other technologies out there. And another thing you'll find is that they aren't necessarily working hand in hand or correlated to the stock market. They can actually behave differently. They can go up and the stock market's going down, for example. So crypto miners are out there. These miner revenues are supposed to skyrocket and have been. Another group that we look at are equipment manufacturers. Think of it as Intel and AMD doing semiconductors. There's specialized hardware for crypto miners and running the crypto blockchain. So there are companies now which are producing equipment that run this type of technology. Now you get into the exchanges and the custodians of the currencies itself. So how do you have a bank in here that plays just in this to make these transactions work? Well, there are absolutely banks in here. Coinbase was the most recent one, to largest one, essentially the first major one, I should say, to go public. There are more and others, and you'll see if you haven't read about this, every single bank and every single sovereign government out there is looking at doing crypto. You saw in the newspapers several weeks ago, I think it was El Salvador brought in crypto as a currency into their country. And what happened was the thing crashed. And the reason was because there's so much use and misuse of the systems. They just overloaded the systems in that country. Probably weren't ready with the right equipment or crypto miners to absorb it. Then there's trading and asset management. How do you trade these things? There's a whole business around trading or managing crypto assets. And by the way, there are different types of crypto assets. The NFTs are another crypto asset. Essentially, digital art is another crypto asset which has value. And then there are all these supporting services. There's actually a bank which lends or provides services to crypto markets. So when you think about this as a new business opportunity, think of it beyond Bitcoin and what Bitcoin is doing, day to day in terms of its value. That's pretty speculative in our book, but we're starting to see that crypto becoming more and more of an asset that we should consider having in our portfolios. But we get these companies in here, it creates a different opportunity set, which is more familiar with how we judge whether or not a company should be in a portfolio. So that is the primer on blockchain technology, how to invest in it, a little bit about crypto. There are deeper and much more wiser people who are involved with crypto, and I think we're going to see more of that. And I'd be happy to share and have them on some of our future events, webinars. And if you haven't done it yet, please tune into our podcast. They're called Where's the Fire? You'll find them on Spotify and iTunes. It's myself basically interviewing experts that have something to do with what we're doing in our business, probably have something to do with what you're doing with us. If you'd like to learn more about that, you can also go to our social media sites, of which we have many, including from First Capital Advisors Group and GoPlan 101, which is our financial wellness and educational tool. You can actually subscribe to GoPlan 101. It's free for the first year. I think it's $6 a month for maintenance after that. So it's a pretty inexpensive way to learn more about what's going on. So Jim Heil signing off for now. We'll see you soon.